Hi, welcome to Thoughts on the Porch. Today we're going to talk about the three-act structure. Every story, every movie, every bit of art that we consume as Westerners is imbued with the three-act structure. If you don't have that, then the audience will feel disengaged. The audience will feel shortchanged. Um, in a different video, we'll talk about the 12 steps that create the perfect story. But here's the thing, when you go to a movie and you're like, oh, this is a great movie, and you're not sure why, oftentimes it's the storytelling. If you read a book and you're like, oh, this is okay, but it's gripping, right? And let me clarify that. John Grisham is not a great writer. He's a great storyteller. I have bought and read every single John Grisham book, except the kid books. He's a great storyteller. He's a great character creator. But he has a storytelling things down. Believe it or not, Sylvester Stallone is a great storyteller. I don't care if you like his movies. I don't care if you like his politics. I don't care if you think he's a great actor. If you break down his movies, he's a great storyteller. He puts everything in place. All the things that we don't even know we are accustomed to or demand from storytelling. So the most important element is the three-act structure. Act 1, boy meets girl. Act 2, boy loses girl. Act 3, boy finds girl, right? That's basically your formula for success. If you look at a book that you've read, there have been books that you have read in your life that you're like, this is great writing, but where's the story? It's because they didn't have the three-act structure. So you had nothing to hang your hat on. So part 1 is the beginning of your story. Let's say we're doing the story of your senior year of high school. Okay, that's going to be your story, senior high school. Act 1 is the first day of school. You're meeting people, you're establishing allies, you're getting the lay of the land, right? Act 2 is the conflict. You meet a girl or boy, you have a teacher that you have a problem with, there's got to be a conflict. That's Act 2. That's all the things that happen in Act 1 are set up to create that. Act 3 is the resolution. You have to resolve the conflict. If you end the story and the conflict isn't resolved, your readers will come to your house and do terrible things to the facade of the front of your house. Do people have facades? I'm not sure. They'll ruin your aluminum siding. I don't know. Here's the thing, and I teach this in my social media for the writer class. There's a million guys and girls out there writing books. If you find the people that are willing enough to take a chance on a new writer, you can't disappoint them. You can't do it. You got to give them the best. As soon as you disappoint them, they're gone. Right? They're gone, and you're never going to get them back. So make sure that you have the three-point structure. The three-act structure. Make sure you have a good, solid foundation, a good base for what you're doing. I want to know what you're doing, who I'm dealing with. I want to either love or hate the protagonist. I want to understand who the antagonist is and why. I'll get back to that. Act 2, I want the conflict to be real. I want the conflict to be something that I can identify with. Now, if you're doing a fantasy story or something that's out of my realm, I can still understand it. It can still be made clear. And of course, the last act, you got to wrap everything up. Loose ends are the worst thing to do to an audience. That's not a cliffhanger. Cliffhanger is different. Don't leave loose ends. Don't leave loose ends. Cliffhanger is deliberate. We're not done yet. Loose end is, we're done. Whatever. So the protagonist is somebody who has a want, right? They want something. Going back to that high school thing, that protagonist wants to graduate. Okay. The antagonist are the people or the forces or the nature that come between the protagonist and their want. So the antagonist is a shitty biology teacher or a COVID that keeps the kid from going to school, right? So to be clear, antagonist can be, usually it's a person, but it could be a situation, etc. So let's go with this. Think about this when you're writing, because you got a lot of time still. A lot of folks have a lot of time still in kind of staying home. 3-act structure. Write it down on the paper. Act 1, the dog runs away from home. Act 2, the dog goes into the city and learns the ways of the world. Act 3, the dog comes home a better dog. Now, you not only have a loose outline, but you know where your story's going. I'm not a big fan of outlines. I'm learning to use them now because I have so many projects that have to get done, and outlines make it quicker. In a book I wrote a while ago, which is up on the shelf now, there were 2 different points where I threw away, 100, 150, 200 pages because I wasn't using an outline. I had a blast writing it. It's shit writing, but I had fun. Here's the key. Here's the gift. The gift is when you realize that writing is fun. Then you don't care if you write 150 pages of crap. Throw them away and write 150 pages of something that's less crap. So 3-act structure, work on it, make it happen. We're going to do another one of these. Try and change the focus of the thoughts on the porch for a little bit, just to ease things up a little bit. If you have questions, you can hit me down here in the comments. You can find me on Facebook or whatever. If you're in the College Due page zone, I am teaching some online classes this fall. So and spring. So write it out, man. Write it out. There's no better way to get through the sadness and the loneliness and the weirdness of the pandemic than to write. Because you can write yourself out of your house and onto a beach in sunny Cancun.